Welcome to What in the World with Paul Seabrun and his sidekick, John DiNallo. This podcast brings you real news, but news that will make you smile. No politics, so we expect to see you smile. Right, Paul?
That's exactly right, Karen. Thanks so much for that great introduction. Yes, it is time for What in the World, everybody's favorite weird news podcast. Real news, sometimes strange, always funny. That's our motto. Real news, as Karen said, no politics, no business, no religion, none of that stuff, the controversial stuff. Just good old fashioned stories about monsters and weird.
If that doesn't have somebody interested by now, Paul, you're never going
Yeah,
to get anybody
I'm
interested.
sorry. Yeah, I may have lost somebody there. But fun news that again, um, we hope you have as much fun listening to it as we do, finding it and telling you about it. Um, if you're not enjoying one story, just hang in there because 2 minutes later we'll have another one lined up for you. We bust through them. We try to get as many as we can. So there's something for everybody on What in the World. I'm your host, Paul Seabrun. You may have heard about me through mysteriousuniverse.org, where I'm the editor and head writer. A lot of paranormal stuff there. I don't do as much paranormal stories here. They're just not as funny as the weird news. But occasionally, and today is one of those days, you'll hear some interesting stuff that um, crosses over from the paranormal into the real news. The If you came to us from Facebook, thank you for doing that. If you like me or follow me on Facebook, it's a good place to go. I test out some of the stories on Facebook, so you get a little preview of what we might be talking about. I also have a website, paulseabert.com. All kind of information there and links. You can find a link to Amazon, where my book, What Would You Say to a Naked Space Alien, is currently for sale. So we got all the promos out of the way here. The first voice that you heard in your ear was Karen Hale. She is our producer, our co-host, and media mogul at newclevelandradio.net, our platform. You can go there, find out all about Karen, find out about her coaching services. Yes, I Can Coaching, which is our sponsor. If you want to find the podcast, or you've already found it, obviously, if you're listening to us, but we are on all the major platforms, Spotify, Apple, etc. We are also on YouTube, and that's always a great place to go to find us because we have photos that go along with the story. So it's a chance to see some stuff, see see a little bit more information on the funny stories. The other voice you heard in your other ear is our other co-host, and that is John DiNallo, our co-host, color commentator, host of What in the World of Sport, my old buddy from college. How you doing, John?
Hey, Paul, I'm doing well this morning. Again, it's not usual. It's not a typical show for us to do it in the morning here in Cleveland, but we're here doing it, and it should be a great show.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, if you're tuning in the future, we we normally record live on Tuesdays at 3:30 Eastern Daylight Time. We've had all kinds of various technical and medical and scheduling issues over the past few weeks, and as a result, we are recording. I don't think we're on live today. We're recording on a Thursday at 11 o'clock in Cleveland, Ohio, if you want to know where we're coming from, the Northeast Ohio area. So that's the way it goes. We're dealing with it, and you're listening to us on your earbuds while you're exercising or out on your walk, whatever you might be doing when you listen to What in the World. If you Be careful if you're walking in the street and you start laughing, at least watch where you're going. Uh,
That's a good warning for someone, Paul. That's a
that's
very good
right.
warning.
We don't want to get sued, John, right?
Yeah, of course, we don't need that.
We don't want to get sued again. Maybe I should say that. That's
Well, let's leave that for another day.
all right. Well, let's see what we've got to talk about today. We've got some great fun stories here on What in the World. We've got a tasty guitar and a not so tasty ham. So we love those food stories. So stick around and see what those are all about. We've got it's August. We're let's see, August 21st here. So it's been hot, but it's cooling off a little bit. But for those of you who are still hot, we've got some cool and wet world records that we'll be talking about. So to help you cool off, plus the world's worst smoothie and the end of sound on email. This has been on the mainstream news. We're going to talk about it as well. Now, for your paranormal fans, I've got a Bigfoot on display. John, get ready for this. Bigfoot
Okay, sounds good.
on display and a new kind of Loch Ness monster that you've never seen before. Plus, we got some more odd news. We've got world records. We've got trivia. John's got a strange sport for us, as always. And then we'll play Bluff the co-host, everybody's favorite weird news show, weird news game. So let's get right to it with our first story. That would be the tasty guitar. Tasty guitar. Why on earth? Oh, let's see. Let me get my photos up here. Why on earth would I refer to a guitar as being tasty, you might ask? There's our logo here. Let me line things up. There's my book. What would you say to a naked space alien? So this guy, his name is Artem Mayer. He's a Russian guitar maker. The name of his company is Cooper Guitars, and he built a Les Paul style. Now, I'm not a guitar player. I'm an accordion player. I know, which tells you a lot about me. Yeah. So I don't know a whole lot about guitars, but I do know that the Les Pauls are very famous, very prized by musicians. The Les Paul guitar. So this is a Les Paul style electric guitar that looks like it's made out of donuts. There's a picture of it, John. You can take a look at that.
Oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like that.
I mean, neither did I. That's why it's here on What in the World.
Okay.
For those of you listening in, it looks like at least about a dozen, maybe a dozen and a half donuts. The ones with the hole in the middle and the various colored icing on it and sprinkles, and they're all kind of molded, squished together into the shape of a guitar, complete with the fret. I guess is that part that with the where you put the other hand. I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about here, but there you go. So there's the guitar. Looks like
Okay.
yeah. What do you look tasty, John?
Oh, it looks great. Again, I've never seen donuts arranged such a way.
I
And
know.
donuts are a favorite of mine. And it's, wow, it's just very unique, very
Well,
interesting.
I'm telling you, a guitar made out of donuts. If that doesn't kill Keith Richards, nothing will. I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
what a beautiful work of art. So the person who ordered it from this store said that that's not what they meant by guitar licks when they ordered it.
Oh, very good. Very good.
I think that's what you'd find people doing. Like Jimi Hendrix when he was playing the guitar with his teeth. I think this might distract him enough that he
That
starts.
would, I would
Yeah,
figure that'd be a distraction for him,
yeah,
Paul.
yeah. You
Wow.
remember that? Eric Clapton tuned in on this. He said that he'd like to get one where the donuts are cream filled.
Oh, the band that he was in was
There
Cream.
we,
That's right. All right, Paul. Paul, you got him
so,
going today. Very good.
there we go, John. This is the perfect guitar. If you're an old school rock and roller, this is the perfect guitar for old rock and roll guitar players because some of the donuts are glazed. Um,
Oh.
or it's
Oh.
a good way to explain that powder under your nose. Oh, I was eating donuts, down when I went to pick up my guitar. Uh, so I was
Oh.
thinking, besides Eric Clapton and a clean cream-filled guitar, what other guitarists and bands would a donut guitar be appropriate for? So, first one that now, John, for those, John and I are the same age. We're old school rock and roll fans, so you may not recognize some of these band names, John. Bananarama. I think Bananarama should have a.
Bananarama, that would be relevant.
There
Yes,
you
that would
go.
be relevant.
If you're looking for fillings, how about Fiona Apple? I think she
Oh,
should have.
okay. Yes.
How
All
about
right.
it?
Okay.
Apple
That's
flavored guitar.
yeah, that is related relates to that. Sure. Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Now, how about this one? This is a more modern musician, Jelly Roll.
Oh, Jelly Roll, sure, right. He's very current, he's very
He,
popular.
he should definitely have a donut guitar. And finally, of course, the person who should have originated the donut guitar, Chuck Berry, right?
Yeah, I mean, you would think so, right? He is the godfather of the guitar and rock and roll, right?
That's right. That's right. He should have had a berry filled donut guitar. So
And so appropriate again.
you think so? Yeah. So Chuck, if you're listening in from the afterlife, come on back. We got a guitar for you.
Oh,
All right. So while we're on the subject of food, um, one of a longtime fan of the show who I hear from all the time, she sends me tips. That's one of the things you can do on Facebook. Send me some story ideas. Marion, who I've done stories by her before. This one came from Marion. This comes from the Lam Yong Vegetarian Health Food Company. I, I know you shop there all the time, John. The
no. Wow. I'll
wait,
just leave that as it is.
yeah, you were just there over the weekend. The Lam Yong Vegetarian Health Food Company has come out with, get ready for this, chicken flavored vegetarian ham. Now, I think that's like a double oxymoron. Um,
Yeah, it's really strange, Paul, and I think that's a good way to describe it.
but it's real. There you go. There it is right there. Lam Yong vegetarian chicken flavored ham. It comes in it looks like a giant bologna roll. Um, it's a ham-like product. They can't call it actual ham. So it's a ham-like product made from soy protein, and it also comes in original and bacon flavors, which are three travesties right there. I mean, a
Yeah,
bacon
it doesn't connect. Not for me anyway.
a chicken flavored ham in and of itself seems kind of odd. Although I asked the pig about that, and a and a pig told me that um, chicken flavored vegetarian ham is what you taste when you kiss a vegetarian pig who is cheating on her diet.
Oh my gosh.
Think about that one. Yeah,
That's really complicated, Paul. That's more complicated than I want to know about.
I know that. I think they came up with this idea. A killer on death row asked for a vegetarian ham for his last meal, and the governor felt sorry for him and pardoned him. He said, if the poor guy wants to eat that, there must, he's not long for this world anyway.
Oh, wow.
Vegetarian ham, by the way, is also a good description of many comedians in California. Vegetarian.
Yes, I guess so,
Think
right?
so?
Because
Yeah,
it's
no, John votes
we'll
no on
take
that
that
one.
one, Paul. We'll
Okay.
take that one. That's okay. We'll take that one for sure. That's
But
fine.
so this is real stuff. Now, so if they have vegetarian ham, my lovely wife said, "Well, what about vegetarian spam?" And
Wow,
yeah,
that's even more of a stretch, Paul,
blows your
and
mind, doesn't it?
audience. Wow.
But I'm thinking, John, vegetarian spam. Does spam have any meat in it, or would that be redundant?
I don't
Vegetarian
know. I think spam has meat products. I'm going to
meat,
say I think
or meat
if by definition, I think spam has meat products.
meat products, yeah, as opposed to meat byproducts, which
Exactly,
which are
exactly.
meat adjacent, like
That's a way of putting it, Paul. That's a way of putting it.
bones and things. Not quite meat, a meat byproduct. So John, you know about wine more than I do. What wine would go with vegetarian ham?
Well, most times the thought is like if it's red meat or ham, that more would lean towards red wine. But now, in the last several years, the idea that you have to have red paired with beef or ham or pork is not necessarily the case with a lot of people because now people are taking white wine instead of red wine and vice versa across the
Ah,
board. I mean, that's what
oh,
I've seen for the last 10, 15 years easily. So, quite honestly, either one would work.
okay. Well, I've got one. I actually I found a wine that would go perfectly with vegetarian ham. All wine is made from fruit. I was thinking so. Wine would naturally go with something vegetarian. But the wine that I think would go perfectly with chicken flavored vegetarian ham is, of course, Boone's Farm apple wine.
Wow. Do they still manufacture and make that wine?
Yes, they do, John. They believe it or not.
Wow.
Where do you hear this? The Boone, it's not, it's still called Boone's Farm apple wine and also Boone's Farm Strawberry Hill. Uh,
Hmm.
they were purchased by Ernest and Julio Gallo a long time ago, and you can order it from them for the low price of $5.99 a bottle, and that includes free shipping. So,
Well,
Wow.
let me just throw in here if I can. Let me just interject. We used to purchase and again partake of that wine, apple wine, Strawberry Hill, in the mid 70s, and the price of that wine was not that much. I mean, was
oh,
5.99 is pretty close to what we used to pay for that wine. Let's leave it at
we
that.
probably paid a buck and a quarter. I don't,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So fast forward 50 years, right?
yeah,
You're
but
getting a good deal. If you're looking at this from a money end, you're getting a good deal drinking this wine or purchasing the wine. Maybe if you want to give it as a gift. I
there
mean,
you go. There you
something
go.
like
Oh, that's,
that, right? Right, right.
uh,
Wow.
I can imagine what kind of friends you had if you gave them Boone's Farm as a gift. The
You'd
you
lose them
know
probably.
that was the first wine that I know we all encountered that had a screw top bottle. I think everybody
Oh,
else,
yes, it did.
of
Absolutely.
course,
Right.
that's right.
Right.
So it was introduced by Ernest and Julio Gallo. As a matter of fact, they didn't buy they called it Boone's Farm. 1961, Ernest and Julio Gallo. What the legend is that one day Ernest and Julio were sitting around and they decided, how low can we go? And the result was Boone's Farm apple wine.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you can still get it, John. After the show, I'll send you the link.
Yeah, send me the link. I don't know if I'm going to pick it up, but at least let me have a choice.
All right. So here's a we love talking about world records. Here's a world record for summer. A couple of world records for summer, as a matter of fact. Very popular. I did both of these stories on Facebook. They were very popular. Got a lot of interest. Underwater world records. So the first one comes from Poland, which is not a country known for swimmers, but nonetheless, this guy, he's a free diver. His name is Stanislaw Obazalek, and I know I mispronounced his name, so Stan, I apologize. Uh, he set a new Guinness World Record for the underwater walk, longest underwater walk in one breath, male. So there's also a female record. Longest underwater walk in one breath when he walked, get ready, 363 feet back and forth on the bottom of a pool on one breath. I don't have the time, but if you can figure out how long it was multiple minutes, probably about 10 minutes, I would guess. Um, I'm thinking I would hate to be this guy's kids or his grandkids because they got to listen to him talk about, when I went to school, I had to walk underwater both ways.
Oh, yes, we all have our crosses to bear, right?
That's
Sure.
right.
Well, yeah, sure. I
So,
understand that.
so
All right.
yeah, for those of you who can see the picture, if you can't see it, he's walking bent over um, to reduce water resistance. He said, which means he also set the Guinness World Record for the longest underwater Groucho Marx impression because that it looks. He's even
Uh,
got his hands up to his mouth like he's
right.
smoking a cigar. Well, that would have been a good one if he was smoking a cigar on one breath all at the same
That
time.
would be unique. That would be
Yeah.
very, very different.
So everybody asked, what does this guy do for a living? Well, after he got the record, he went back to his job in Warsaw, which is cleaning sewers. So both of these skills come in handy. He works underwater. He can hold his breath. It's a perfect job.
Hmm.
Yeah. Uh,
Okay. Wow.
now, I used to hate swimming laps. I'm not a big swimmer. I mean, obviously, I know how to swim. John, I think you know how to swim, but swimming laps is even more boring than running, and I love to run. So what do you think?
Well, actually, uh, I'm not a swimmer.
Oh,
I, yeah, I'm not a swimmer, and
well, then this
but
is the sport for you, underwater walking.
Well, no, I'm going to have to say no, and I don't want to get into any specifics behind this, but
Oh, okay. Not good at holding
I,
your breath either. Yeah.
no, well,
Okay.
that's one part of it, and we'll just leave it at that, and let the audience and everyone else kind of figure out why. But no, that's it. I want
Well,
to be
my
very
problem,
candid about that.
I
Yeah.
get it. Swimming laps. My problem with swimming laps, I get bored, and the next thing I know, I'm slamming into the side of the pool. And that's not good for you either. So I think this should be an Olympic sport, underwater walking. I think it'd be great. And I was thinking who would be good at it, and my first thought was Michael Phelps, the greatest swimmer in history. The problem, though, is that he's like about 6'8", 6'9" tall. So he could cheat. He could be walking, and every once in a while you could see his nose pop up, just slightly,
Right.
like
Not playing by the rules.
like
Well,
a
yeah,
little
you could do
shark
that.
fin.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh my.
All right. So if you think that's challenging, so another world record of the same similar kind came from Croatia, also not a country known for swimmers or even water sports. But this is another free diver. There we go. Slow it down there. Vitomir Marisek is his name. He breathed pure oxygen for 5 minutes to get ready to do this, and then he sunk to the bottom of a pool, and he remained there on one breath for 29 minutes and 3 seconds, almost a half an hour underwater on one breath. Yeah. How
That's
about that?
amazing. That is really amazing.
World record for the longest held voluntary breath. So as opposed to involuntary. I'm not sure what that may mean, but that
There's a nuance there, right? There's a
scared him. Yeah.
nuance.
After breaking the record, he went back to his job. Now his job is cleaning gas station restrooms. So
Oh yeah. Okay. Wow.
perfect training for that. To avoid interruptions from lifeguards, because he's down there on the bottom, he wore a shirt that said "Do not resuscitate." Um,
Oh boy. Oh.
what do you think that? Obviously, what are they going to think when they find him down there? So his two favorite movies are Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea and Anchors Away.
Well, I mean, go figure, right? I mean, wow.
He related to the anchor. That was his favorite character.
Mhm.
So my buddy Daryl, I've known Daryl. Oh my God, I've known Daryl for over 50 years. Our first computer company I worked for, I met Daryl, and we ended up going to another computer company. We still talk all the time. Daryl down in Dallas said, why would he do this? Which normally Karen asked that question, but Daryl beat her to the punch. And I did some research, and he said I found out that what this guy said is that the Croatian chicks dig that wrinkly skin. So
Oh boy.
he's got it. He's got it. So how do you pass the time laying on the bottom of a pool, not breathing for a half an hour? Um, when I remember back in the old days, we would do math tables. Your multiplication tables. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. When you were trying to kill time, or John, baseball statistics.
Well, I was just going to say you could find a really good path with sports and specifically with baseball, which again is a sport that amazes me with how many statistics there are.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. Let's just leave it at that. I don't want to keep talking
Well,
about it,
as
but it's
opposed to
amazing.
soccer, that's what I was thinking. He's in Croatia, so they don't
Sure.
play baseball. I mean, there's what kind of statistics are there in soccer? Every game ends up 0-0, or
Right. And quite honestly, because of that low score, the statistics are not as robust as they would be in baseball.
robust. Good word for the day there. Robust. That's what you get. That's what women get from rowing. They get the robust.
Oh,
You're,
well, again,
oh,
I'm not going there. I'm not going there
yeah,
right
I know.
now,
I'm sorry.
but
We better move on after
we
that
better
one.
move
Okay.
on. Let's move on.
One of the occupational hazards of being a collegiate rower on the women's team. Okay, So regular listeners know that I pick on John because he's a collector. John collects. He has massive, talking about sports, massive collection of various sports memorabilia. He's not the only one. Plenty of people do this as well. But John, I know you get some flack for it. Things could be worse than collecting sports memorabilia, and that's what this next story is about. So,
Okay, what is it? What is it about?
okay, this is someone you can refer to when your lovely wife starts complaining about your bobblehead collection or whatever it might be. So
Okay, sure.
this guy's from England, Wesley Tierney, from Stevenage, England. He collected and owns 23 vintage buses. So that's what he collects. He collects vintage buses, full-size vintage buses dating back to 1929. That's his oldest one, 1929. He
Wow.
he even owns the bus that his dad drove when Wes was growing up. His dad was a bus driver. He found the actual bus that his dad drove and bought it and rebuilt it, and now that's sitting in his yard as well. Um, so like most of the buses, his poor wife is fuming. Um,
Well, that's
Um,
okay. That'll
Bada
pass,
boom.
Paul. That will
Yeah.
pass.
No, that's wait. I came up with a name for him. My nickname for him is Vintage Diesel. Uh,
That'll
I know.
that'll work too. I think that'll work. I think that'll pass Karen and both Karen and my standard on
Well,
that. That's
well,
okay.
here's the deal. Here's the deal. It's dangerous to drive these buses, and it's not. He says it's not because they're old, but because people get mad when he passes up bus stops. Because he's not a legitimate.
oh,
Oh,
He's not a real bus driver. So his wife knew about this hobby before they got married. They went together for 10 years. They didn't get married till 2024, just last year. And so she knew about it. Um, he he brought six of the vintage buses to their wedding. So I don't know what they if they were part of the bridal party, if um, if they
yeah. I mean, that's not common, obviously.
I was if it was a Polish wedding, they'd be filled with booze, which I can vouch for. So, you know,
Oh yeah. Okay. All righty. All
but
right.
or maybe he gave I can't imagine he'd be giving them away to the bridal party as gifts. Um,
I don't think that would happen.
no, no, I don't think so. So he says that sometimes he takes them to like fairs and things to show them off, and his now wife, will dress up like a ticket taker. This is England, so they had ticket takers on the buses. So she gets into it. It's not like she doesn't get into it. And I think she likes telling people to move to the back of the bus. So, you know, one of those.
Well, yeah.
Everybody gets their jolly somehow. So.
There it is. There it is.
Okay, so here's we reached the cryptid portion, the monster portion of what in the world here. So, uh, John, get ready for this. This is what we're going to start with the Loch Ness monster. I'll save the Bigfoot for the big finale here. So,
Okay.
strangest Loch Ness monster sighting in history. That's what they're calling this, the strangest Loch Ness monster sighting. And unfortunately, we've got photos so you can see for those of you watching us on YouTube. So normally, what color is the Loch Ness monster, John?
Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna say green.
Green, black. We've
Well,
seen it
I think black or green. Black
black
or
or
green.
green. Okay, yeah, I would say so. Normally they're floating.
Mhm.
Sometimes they're
Right.
moving, right? So this one is blue. It's blue, and it speeds through the water. It just absolutely blasts through the water. They've even seen it leaping out of the water. That's why it's so unusual. So it's blue, it's fast, it leaps out of the water like a whale, or a dolphin.
Okay.
So here's a photo of it pulling out, coming near the shore. This is the this is legitimately on Loch Ness. This is the first ever pizza delivery submarine. that they
Well,
and
at least the ladies on the shore looks like they're enjoying their pizza.
well, look at the box, John. Do you recognize that box?
I,
Dominoes.
Domino's, Karen. That's right.
oh yeah, okay, sure, okay.
So this is a
Good,
this
good
is
spot there,
Domino's
Karen. Good
came up
spot.
with this. Yeah, this is their invention, the pizza delivery submarine. Um, and they decided to try it there because apparently there's a lot of people sitting on the beach and it's too far to walk to the nearest pizza place in Scotland. So they deliver the pizzas via this submarine. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, if you they even have a Loch Ness monster pizza, which all the toppings are blurry. So
Oh, well, that seems to be right. That
yeah,
seems to be
but
right on.
here you go. Here's a picture of the guy actually handing the pizzas to the person on shore, so you can get an idea of the size of this thing. Uh, Godfathers, 'cause you got to be competitive. So when Domino's came out with the submarine, Godfathers came out with their own pizza delivery submarine. It's shaped like a black Lincoln Mark III. So
Okay. All right.
more more mob related there. There's
Yeah.
also a Scottish pizza parlor that is run by a non-believer, a guy who doesn't believe in the Loch Ness monster. So he delivers his pizzas in a submarine that looks like a log, because that's what he thinks the Loch Ness monster is. This
Uh,
thing, there you go. Look, there's a picture of it leaping out of the water, and you can see the wake behind it. Um,
mhm.
300 horsepower engine, top speed 45 miles per hour. So Scots must really want their pizzas delivered fast. Um, they have no idea how fast the Loch Ness monster is. So they made it this fast in case the Loch Ness monster also likes pizza and decides to chase the submarine. Uh,
Okay.
so we're talking Scotland here. I mentioned the Loch Ness monster flavored toppings, but what actually is the favorite pizza topping in Scotland? What would you?
Well, I'm gonna go out on a limb on this one. I'm gonna say haggis.
Whoa, very good. John gets the prize here. Haggis is the number one pizza topping, favorite pizza topping in Scotland. Haggis, for those of you who don't know, is a mouth-watering mix. This is from their description. A mouth-watering mix of mixed minced ham, beef, offal, oats, onions, and spices. And if you don't know what offal is, it's one of those meat byproducts that we were talking about before.
Mm.
Not
Okay. Okay.
not quite a steak, but adjacent to a steak. Um, so yeah, seriously, they love the haggis on their pizzas. Um, Yum yum. Okay, all right. So John loves the Bigfoot story, so I have got the Bigfoot story to top all Bigfoot stories coming up next here.
I'm ready.
Okay, if you ever wanted to make a road trip to see, guaranteed you would see a Bigfoot, and also while you're there, eat some fried elephant ears and giant turkey legs.
Sure.
Well, this is where it's coming from. It's coming from the Great New York State Fair, which is running right now through the beginning of September. They have Bigfoot expert Charles the Snake Stewart. Here's Charles right here. He's a Bigfoot expert. Charles the Snake Stewart has on display an alleged dead Bigfoot that he found in the Adirondacks Mountains, and he named it Dak after, obviously, Adirondack. So this is the guy. He doesn't look like a Bigfoot hunter. If you take a look
Hard
at
to
it,
tell though, in a way, but
yeah,
yeah.
well, it's black and white, but kind of a skinny guy. He doesn't have a gun or anything. So I'm
Right. Right. Doesn't look like a hunter per se.
doesn't look like a hunter. There you go. Yeah. So he's an unusual guy. He calls his Bigfoot Dak, for Adirondack. I guess it was too mathematical, and Ron, he could call him Ron, but that's too human. I would have called him WTF because I'm not sure if I believe this, but we'll see. So the creature, before I show you the picture, the creature would have stood had he been alive, 8 feet tall, heavily muscled, and thick brown hair covering most of its body. Facial features are a mixture of human and ape-like characteristics with a heavy brow and a wide, powerful jaw. The cause of death remains unknown. So I don't know. It could have been excitement. He could have died from a heart attack, maybe from when he realized
That's possible.
he's going to be on display at the New York State Fair. So here's a picture of the of Zach. What is that? His name? Snake and his Bigfoot when he found the Bigfoot.
Wow.
Yeah. I got one more yet. So Snake claims he's a tracker, not a hunter. He doesn't like to be called a hunter. He doesn't use knocking. We've talked about knocking on the show before, where people bang stuff against the log or against a tree trunk to attract Bigfoot and get them to knock back to you. Kind of a knock less monster, you might call it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm gonna patent that one. So he doesn't use them. He prefers to look for signs, and he said scat, or poop is one of the signs. So he wait a minute. He actually found some, John.
Really?
So, yeah. He found. I don't have a picture of it. I know you would like to see that as well.
No, I don't think I would, but that's
okay. like the emoji that everybody.
Oh yes, I hate that emoji, by the way, for what it's worth. But that's okay.
Right. So he got the scat and he analyzed it himself. I'll let you use your imagination what that looked like.
All right. Okay. Well.
Yeah. The scat, he said, shows that Bigfoot is an omnivore, which means that he eats both meat and vegetables or plants. They found both matter in the fecal matter, the fecal pot.
Oh God.
Yeah. Plus, they said that he found parasites, which means that Bigfoot was on a scavenger diet. So he didn't kill things himself. He found things that were dead and ate them, and then because of that, he has parasites.
Oh.
Yeah. Now I'm surprised he didn't find empty boxes of donuts, because we know that Bigfoot likes donuts too. So.
Yes, he does. At least it's reported he likes donuts.
And John, it would have been great had he found the box, because then we could resolve that mystery of whether Bigfoot prefers Dunkin' over Krispy Kreme.
Well, yes, we'd have definitive proof, right?
So here's another picture. This is closer to what you're going to see if you go to the great New York State Fair there. It's obviously it's going to be under a glass cover, so you can't actually touch it or lift up his arm.
Okay.
Roll him over. I don't know what. Plus he said that it emits a pungent odor, reminiscent, like a wine tasting here, reminiscent of a mix between skunk and human body odor.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound very good to me.
No, sounds like an Uber driver. That's what it sounds like. So Stewart, or Snake as he likes to be called, claims he's got DNA evidence, and it that proves that Bigfoot is like a descendant of the Neanderthal. So it's a close relative, possibly a Neanderthal that survived, 50,000 years, which is about when the Neanderthal disappeared. So John, what do you say? You've seen two photos of the dead Bigfoot. What did that look like to you?
I'm sorry, Paul, Karen, audience. I have to go back to my common dialogue about Bigfoot photos and videos. It could be, but I am not convinced. I mean, it could be Bigfoot, but I'm sorry, I'm not convinced.
Oh, okay. So you have a lot of company, John. I will say that. So some of the people that I correspond with that have seen this, the Bigfoot Research Organization, with one of my favorite resources for Bigfoot stories. They said that it's definitely a fake as far as they're concerned. Now, I don't know if they've been to New York to see it, but from all the information and from what they knew about Stewart, it's a fake. Another person I've talked to, Sharon Hill, who is a geologist. She wrote the Sound Sciencey column for the Committee for Skeptical Inquiry. That's how I first got in contact with her. So she's a skeptic.
Okay. Okay.
She likes to analyze these kinds of things. She says that it's definitely a fake. Uh, excuse me. She even went even further. She found someone who looked like Stewart, who is actually an artist, and she claims that what this was like an art project that this guy created. Now she's the only one who said that so far. Uh, I don't know.
Okay.
Is the dead Bigfoot art? Um, I mean, what art school do you have to go to get
I
an
don't know if
A
anyone has the answer to that one, Paul.
in? So she quoted Frank Zappa when with her final analysis of the guy who did this, and Frank Zappa had an album called "We're Only in It for the Money," and that's exactly what she thinks Stewart is doing. He's selling,
Uh-huh.
yeah, selling tickets cheap. It's only like $8 to get into the building to see Bigfoot, and there's some other stuff there as well. But so if you still want to go, the fair runs from yesterday, I think, until first week of September. So good chance to see Bigfoot. Um, all right. So let's get back to some food. We still got some time. We can talk about some food here. Smoothie King. Are you a smoothie fan, John, by the way?
Um, I would say they're okay. I don't go out of my way to try to purchase them or make them or whatever, but they're all right.
All right. Well, I don't think then if based on that answer, I don't think you'll like this one. Smoothie King has teamed up with Heinz to make the first ever ketchup-based smoothie.
Oh no,
How about that?
ketchup
No.
Yeah,
base.
Karen. Oh,
Oh my
Karen.
gosh. Oh my gosh.
Karen, are you a
Wow.
smoothie fan?
Yes, I make my own, but not ketchup. Oh,
Oh my gosh.
So the,
Wow.
the ketchup smoothie contains Heinz Simply Tomato Ketchup, acai sorbet, um, apple juice, strawberries, and raspberries. To complement the ketchup smoothie, I recommend cold hot dogs right from the
Oh,
refrigerator. Yeah.
doesn't I tell you what, if someone's trying to embark on a diet, I mean, that might be something to start with.
Oh,
yeah.
there you go. Yeah, yeah. Um, if you want to, I'm sure that there's a cost to it, $5 or $6 probably. If you
Hmm.
go cheap, just go to McDonald's, order a McDonald's shake, and then go over to the ketchup, to
Oh
get 3 packs of
no.
ketchup. So you don't think that would be just as good, Karen?
No, no, just ketchup is not a smoothie.
No. Here's what I said, and
Oh,
I got a couple of people, my friends in the paranormal world, like this one. I said ketchup smoothies are another reason why extraterrestrials don't bother with Earth. They don't, if these
yeah.
people if they're drinking ketchup smoothies, leave them alone. Uh,
Oh my gosh. Wow.
now, I'm not a big smoothie fan at all. Okay, my favorite smoothie is the chocolate malt and vanilla ice cream flavored smoothie, which you get at Dairy Queen. To me, a milkshake is that I prefer a milkshake over a smoothie, um, but obviously not as healthy as ketchup and whatever the other stuff is in there. Did you know the origin of the smoothie? This is really interesting. Smoothies were actually invented by Smoothie King. Smoothie, is that the name of the place? Smoothie King, yeah. They came up with the name smoothie. Um, the original idea was that there's got to be some way to make kale taste better. So
That might be the alternative. That might that
that's all they
yeah,
could come up with, John.
sure,
So
right. Oh
the
wow.
guy who started Smoothie King, his name is Stephen Kunau. Um, Late 1960s, he came up with the idea because he was lactose intolerant and he couldn't eat milkshakes. So he took frozen fruit and juice and put it in a blender as an alternative to milkshakes. And he said that his allergies went down, his blood sugar went down. But, people have been blending fruit and stuff and vegetables in a blender for centuries, even before that.
Hmm.
I ran over it with a lawnmower or something before there were
Oh
blend.
boy.
Um, but he came up with the smoothie name, so he's the originator of the actual name smoothie,
Hmm.
and he came up with the idea of charging a fortune for something that your mom used to make for you for free. So, guys, are genius, right? Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Right. 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 Wow.
Yeah. So now regular listeners of the show know that I used to be in the computer business. I mentioned that before with my buddy Daryl. Uh, I learned about computers in high school back in the punch card days. For those of you who remember what punch cards are, I know John and Karen do. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
one of the I so that was because of that, I was one of the first users of time sharing and online bulletin boards and electronic messaging. I was into that before anybody else. Um, I had a dial-up modem. I think eventually everybody had a dial-up modem. I had one before anybody else in the neighborhood, and I used to use a company called CompuServe. In fact, I still do. CompuServe, out of Columbus, Ohio, as a matter of fact. They've been in the business since 1969. Uh, they were the first people to provide a dial-up connection to a bulletin board. So you could sit at home with your computer and dial into someplace and either run programs or send your friends messages. Uh, Way back then, the competitors were Prodigy, which was from AT&T, Genie, which was from GE, and America Online, which eventually became the elephant in the room. They were the name that everybody thought of when they thought of electronic email.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, John, the movie that really brought electronic mail to the masses. Remember the name of that movie?
Is no, I don't. I gotta.
You
I gotta
got
bring one to.
mail.
You've got mail. There you go, Karen.
Okay,
You're
good
two
one,
for two
Karen. Very
there.
good. Very good.
Okay. All right. We'll give the second question. Karen got the first one. We'll give Karen the follow-up. Who starred in You've Got Mail?
Oh, Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks.
And Tom Hanks. There you go. Okay.
Ah, very
Would
good,
you like to
Karen.
try for three?
I'll try.
Okay. There were two other movies that Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan starred in during that same time
Uh,
period. This is a tough one.
that is a tough one. Don't know.
They were Joe and the Volcano, Joe versus the Volcano, a very funny movie. It was one of my favorite movies, not as well known as the others. And Sleepless in Seattle,
Oh, yes, yes.
everybody's favorite romantic movie. Yeah. So why do we care? Why am I talking about this? Obviously, they get to the point already. AOL announced this week that they were ending dial-up service for the few people. I thought few. It's actually hundreds of thousands of people still use dial-up on their landline in order
Wow.
to get their electronic messages. Yeah. 163,000 households in the United States estimated using dial-up service to help them deal with this loss. And this is a huge loss for these people. AOL is setting up a free 800 number that they can call so that they can still hear the beeps and the static and the screeches that preceded logging in. I wish I had a recording of it for anybody who didn't know what it, but I can't imagine that unless you're under 20, you should know what that sound is.
Oh yeah, I think a lot of people do remember what that sound is,
Yeah,
Paul.
yeah. Now, the people I pity the most, Karen, you can relate to this. The people I pity the most are sales clerks at Best Buy because these 163,000 people are going to start going to Best Buy, and the poor sales clerks are going to have to explain to them the progress that's been made over the
Yeah,
past 4
Oh
years.
right, yeah.
you're right.
I can see that. Sure.
Oh my God, the poor sales clerks. Um, these people are going to be stumbling around the mall looking for a Radio Shack. That's what.
Uh,
Where's Radio
re-
Shack? I need a replacement for my
oh
mother.
my gosh. Really?
Yeah. So a lot of people would ask me what those sounds were, and I knew because I used to have to use an oscilloscope to watch them, the actual signals going back and forth. It's called an acoustic modem handshake, and it was a protocol that both sides would of electronic messages they would send back and forth, kind of like dating. Getting back to Sleepless in Seattle and You've Got Mail, they were exchanging messages. Like I'd like to talk to you. That's the first thing that they would say. And the response would be, well, I'm here. And then they would say, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Just like a real message. Uh,
Hmm.
what's your speed? They would ask those questions like that. What's your sign? Just like a real date. And then, of course, the male ones would ask, what are you wearing?
Well, if the shoe fits, wear it.
There you go. And at that point, we knew we had a connection. And that's for my portion of what in the world for this week. The honest to God, yeah, I wish I still have a dial-up phone. I no longer have dial-up service, but you know, I can't throw anything away, John. You can relate to that.
I can relate to that. Yes, I can.
All right, so that brings us to What in the World of Sports with John DiNallo. Regular listeners of the show know that John and I met in college. We're fraternity brothers. John knows more about sports than anybody I know, so he's the perfect guy for me to go to every week and say, John, I need a sport that fits the theme. Real sport, sometimes strange, always funny. And regular listeners know John comes up with one every week. He's got one I never heard of for the sport this week. So why don't you take it away, John?
Oh, that sounds good, Paul. Thanks for the introduction. So, everyone who has ever played the card game solitaire knows that your only opponent is getting caught by your boss.
Oh, yeah,
However,
right.
right. However, there is a competitive version of solitaire, and that's our sport for today.
Wow.
The game is called Nerds, and it's a multiplayer, multi-deck card game. In Nerds, players or teams race to get rid of the cards in their Nerds pile by playing them in sequences from aces upwards, either into their personal area or in a communal central area. Each player or team uses their own deck of playing cards throughout the game.
Wow.
Now, Nerds was invented in England in the 1890s as Racing Demon. That's what they called it then, Racing Demon. In the US, it was called Pounce, and it was called Pounce in the 1930s, and then was called Nerds. Other names are Peanuts, Racing Canfield, Scramble, Squeal, and Scrooge. You may have never heard of those before, but those are names of this game. For more
Wow.
information, I'm sorry, Paul, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. That's
Okay, but so for those of you that want more information, um, well, there's information that's available on its history, tournaments, and also places to play online. There is something, and this is for you, Karen. There is a blog of the National Nerds Association.
Oh, wow.
An actual association exists for this sport. Now,
Wow.
if you want to give Nerds a try, all you need is 2 or more regular decks of cards, with each deck having a different color or design on the back to make it easy to tally up the scores and then sort the cards for the next game. It also helps to have a large table to play Nerds. There are 4 areas that are designated, and these designated areas are the lake, the river, the stream, and the last one is called the Nerds pile. Now, the lake is the center, and it's used to score points by building suited piles in ascending order without doubles. The river is a 4-column personal area that a player uses to make columns of alternating color cards in order. The stream is a pile that is continually flipped in search of cards to play into the lake or into the river areas. The Nerds pile is a 13-card pile where players try to get rid of cards one at a time from the top of the pile into the lake or the river. Now, that sounds confusing. It sounds
It is
confusing.
confusing.
Well, it is, but I believe for information that I've gained, people love this game. Once they learn how to play it, they are really competitive at it. Now,
I was going to say, John, looking at these pictures, initially it looks like a mess. It looks like somebody threw a bunch of decks of cards
yes,
on
it does.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
but if you look at it more closely, you can see that the cards are in descending order in alternating colors, just like when you play solitaire. And also in the middle, they're all of the same suit, so that
Right.
kind
So,
of
yeah, I mean, upon closer inspection, like you said, Paul, it's easy to untangle it, so to speak.
I
Now,
guess. Okay.
now, remember, every player is doing all of this at the same time from their own deck.
Wow.
Wow.
The first player to successfully get rid of their pile, this is a tradition, yells "Nerds."
Oh.
Once "Nerds" is called, all play stops and the scores are tallied.
Oh, there we go. I want to
Wow.
point something out if you're looking at this on YouTube, the there's a misspelling here. Instead of the first player, they say the fifth player to empty their nerd pile is the
Very
winner.
good observation, Paul. Good catch.
I was I got
Very
a little
good
confused.
catch.
I thought maybe it
No,
ended with a
no.
fight. You know.
That's a great catch, Paul, by you for sure. Now, points are
Oh,
determined. I'm sorry. Points are determined by a formula using the number of cards played into the lake, subtracted by twice the number of cards remaining in the nerd's pile. So you have to probably have a piece of paper to tally that. Now,
yeah.
the player who called nerds then is granted or gains 10 points, 10 bonus points.
Mm.
So, so in conclusion, Nerd sounds like a great party game. Better yet, play online Nerds with your bored coworkers who are working from home.
Ooh.
Just don't let the online boss catch you.
Oh.
Oh, that's right. They know how to do that stuff. Yeah. Now that they don't have dial-up modems anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good segue into that one, Paul. But
Yes.
what a very interesting sport. I would have to say, over the last couple of months, this is the most interesting sport that we've encountered.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
looks like fun.
It does look like fun. It
Absolutely,
looks like a
yes.
great party game. Yeah.
I think it would be. Yes, yes.
As long as you make sure you got to have enough different kinds of backings on the cards. Um, and
Yeah,
some
to
of
make
them,
sure that right. Yeah, exactly. That the
yeah,
players
they even,
have the
you know,
right
this
ones.
one, this looks like I think this must be the online version. Um,
Okay. Okay.
so,
Yeah.
but I would say try the online version and see if you like it, playing against the computer. And if you do, get a bunch of cards and play with your friends. It's
Invite us all
Sure.
to the party.
first you got to have a party. That's right. Have a
Well,
nerd.
whose house we're gonna have the party at?
Yeah.
I know it'd be tough to sell it at my house right
But
now. So,
my
but
guess is
leave it at
you
that.
probably have more decks of cards than the rest of us. So
Well, yeah, but that's not a qualifier. I'm
I don't
just
know if you
saying.
can play. Do you have any waterproof ones? We could play it in the hot tub. That would be fun.
Well, no, that would be a tall order, I think.
Well,
Oh,
as always, another great sport, John. The and again, one that I thought I never heard of before until I started thinking about it, and then I realized that it sounded familiar. It sounded like a challenge we got when we were in college, and one of the other fraternities challenged our fraternity to a game of nerds. I know. Do you remember
you know,
anything?
no, I'm totally in the dark on this one, Paul. Totally.
Yeah.
I have no recollection.
You would have thought it was pinochle, which we used
Oh, our
all the time.
fraternity was known for pinochle tournaments.
You better believe
Some
it.
good
But
pinochle players in our
nerds.
fraternity.
Yeah. So another fraternity challenged us to a game of nerds. And so of course they put John and myself in charge as the youngest guy. Said, go figure this out and figure out a way for us to win. Um, we had no idea what nerds was, but I was in the science department and I knew what inert meant. I,
As in the gas, inert gas.
inert gas. Inert means not doing anything. Basically, it does
Mhm.
absolutely nothing. And John and I were outstanding at doing absolutely nothing. So here's a
Yes, we
picture.
were.
Yeah, here's a picture of John being inert. Got trademark baseball cap way back then. I don't know where you found that backpack back in those days, but that
Looks
looks
like
like
looks like a lounge. I mean, looks like a couch in the airport lounge,
in the
right?
airport lounge
That's
where we used to hang out. So here's me
right.
I had a different kind of hat. The I also had a. I thought that was that looked like a phone next to my head, but it had to be a calculator because they didn't have cell phones back then.
Oh yeah, right,
So
right.
so we thought we won. We were the best inert players there were. Turns out the other fraternity had the same idea, and they also had a party the night before. So
Oh,
Oh, they
they were
weren't
all
ready. Those,
the entire
oh
fraternity was
wow.
inert. Yeah.
No, they were in there. It looks like they have some sorority members in there also sprinkled
Somehow
in.
they got some girls in there. We were not.
Yeah, well, you know how that is with college guys, right?
That's
You know that.
exactly right. That wasn't our fraternity, but anyway, somehow they recruited some girls, and so we ended up having some beer afterwards, anyways, as we always did. All right, nerds, great sport, John. Thanks so much for that.
You're welcome, Paul, Karen, and audience. It was a lot of fun to do.
All right, so now we've got Bluff the co-host, everybody's favorite. I think I've reached the end here. Yeah, let's get out of. How do I know I've got. Oh, there it is up there. There we go. Okay. The Bluff the co-host, everybody's favorite weird news game. Rules are simple. I have three stories similar to the ones that we've been talking about all afternoon. One big difference. Those stories were real. These stories may be real. They may be a bluff. And it's up to John, Karen, and all of you playing at home to decide real or bluff. Uh, Wagering is allowed, so place your bets. John and Karen, hands on the buzzer. Let's get right to story number one. A popular new game show in Germany is called Shopping Cart Archery. No bows or arrows are involved, just a skill that most people at grocery stores think they have, and that is the ability to shove a shopping cart in a straight line across the parking lot into the cart corral. On Shopping Cart Archery, contestants have 8 tries to shove their carts 30 feet across a tiled floor into a target corral, which is not much wider than the cart itself and has a little curve to make it more challenging and realistic. The carts are empty and brand new, but the contestants can still end up with the dreaded one wobbly wheel syndrome to add to the excitement. It's not supermarket sweepstakes, but shopping cart archery contestants win free groceries and become the envy of their friends. Okay, shopping cart archery, shoving a cart in a straight line for cash and groceries. Real or bluff as a game show? Karen, we'll start with you.
I hate to believe it's real, but I have a feeling it is because people will do the darndest things.
Okay, I'm just going to leave it that one right there. There we go. Karen says that's a real story. John, how about you?
No, I agree with Karen. I like your thinking on this. I mean, people do the darndest things, and I can visualize someone coming up with this as a game. People want to amuse themselves. I think it's real.
Are you good at shoving shopping carts, John?
Um, yeah, I would say that I am, and I'm actually a stickler for making sure the shopping cart goes back into the corral.
The corral, that's right. I didn't even know what those things were called. Now I know. It's called the
Well,
corral.
now that
Okay,
you mentioned the corral, it's like, okay, that's where it goes into that metal frame. But
that's
yeah,
right.
okay,
Yeah.
right.
Okay. So both John and Karen say that shopping cart archery is a real thing. Let's check with the judges, and the judges say congratulations to both of you. That is a real game show
God,
on
All
German
right, Karen,
TV.
very good. And leave it to the German people to come up with something novel, right?
yeah.
I'm surprised we don't have it here.
Yeah.
It sounds
Or
like
maybe we do and we're not aware of it. I don't know.
yeah, we don't. Chuck Barris died, so he's the guy who would come up with all those weird game shows, and Merv Griffin. That's
Well,
why.
Right. Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, right, right.
we can't do it at Heinen's because they don't have corrals.
Oh,
That is
that's
And we
right.
correct. That's
can't
a
do
good
it at
point, Karen.
Aldi's either. But we could do it at Giant Eagle.
Giant Eagle. That's right. Yeah. Well, let's see if we can get the Giant Eagle people to sponsor it. We could
Yeah.
do the competition there, promote it on What in the World. We could all become rich or famous, one or the other. Okay. All right. So far on Bluff the Co-host is 1-1. Let's get right to story number 2. The British aren't known for taking care of their teeth, but a new toothpaste developed in London won't help that either. It's made from wool and human hair, which dental researchers say have an ingredient that preserves tooth enamel better than fluoride. The woolen hair is cleaned, degermed, and ground into powder before being mixed with paste and minty flavoring and squeezed into toothpaste tubes. Dentists say the ingredient from woolen hair actually stimulates the growth of enamel as well as stopping decay in its tracks. Taste testers say they can't tell the difference, and a major toothpaste brand says it should be on the market within a year as soon as they come up with a name that's better than Woolgate, Heratone, or Arm and Header. Oh, the scientists in England have developed toothpaste made from wool and hair that they say is better for your teeth than regular toothpaste. Real or bluff? John, we'll start with you on that one.
Okay, I'm going to say this is a bluff. And the reason I'm going to say it's a bluff is I don't know how practical it is or how easy it would be to try to extract ingredients or pull things from wool and human hair. I mean, I guess it can become in a paste or something like that, but um, it just kind of freaks me out, actually. It just freaks me out. It kind of makes me not scared, but it just freaks me out. I'm going to say I'm hoping it's not real because that way I won't have to be concerned about it.
Okay.
That's a long answer. Sorry.
I'm going to leave that one alone too there. So John says that's a bluff. Karen, the wool and hair toothpaste, real or bluff?
Well, in an earlier life, I was a dental assistant. So I have to say this is a bluff. I cannot picture wool or hair being a good ingredient to clean my teeth. So I'm not going to use it, and I hope it's a bluff.
So there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty strong opinions by both of us on that one.
Wow, no
Sure.
kidding. Yeah. So both Karen and John, Heron. I got hair in the brain here. Both Karen and John say that the wool and hair toothpaste from England is a bluff. Let's check with the judges. And the judges say, well, if you've ever been to England, you know they have more sheep than they have people. And they need something to do with all that wool besides woolen sweater. So they are definitely turning wool and hair into toothpaste, and it will be
gross.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something that you don't want to know about if you're over in England and
Yes,
you're using
exactly.
toothpaste and you don't know what the active ingredient is, right? Wow.
I apologize for all the bad dreams that's going to give you, John, but you know.
Well, yeah, I'll get back to you on that one for
Yeah.
sure. Oh,
or your
my.
lovely wife will to complain to me. What have I?
She'll say something about that, I'm sure.
Okay, all right. Well, that means the score is still tied 1-1. Points are doubled in round number 3. Doesn't matter. We'll either end up with a tie or we'll have a winner here. So let's see what happens. Many people love riding roller coasters, and there are many different kinds of coasters, even within one amusement park. But none live up to the true spirit of the coaster like the coaster roller coaster at a small amusement park in Australia, which has cars shaped like the kind of coasters you normally see under a drink. That's right. The coaster roller coaster cars are round, wide, and flat, which requires the drivers to lie flat on them, get strapped down for safety, and then take off. Each coaster holds 2 people who start out facing up, but slowly reach a vertical position as the coaster's round turns. The most exciting part is near the end when the coasters reach full vertical and begin to roll like a wheel before coming to a stop, allowing the riders to easily step off. So far, this is the only coaster roller coaster in the world, but its popularity may bring it to an amusement park near you. Okay, the coaster roller coaster where the cars are shaped like a coaster under a drink. Real or bluff? Karen, we'll start with you.
I'm going to go with bluff. I cannot imagine being on a flat surface like that on a roller coaster. But then again, I don't ride roller coaster. So I'm going to say
It's a coaster, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so Karen says that's a bluff. John, how about you?
Yeah, I'm going to say it's a bluff too, because I'm going to dismiss it, just like Karen said. I don't visualize how this thing how a roller coaster car could be shaped as a flat coaster, and people laying flat. This one doesn't scare me, but this one concerns me.
Yeah.
More about the people who would actually ride it, I guess. And
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going with this one, folks.
what's their
Right,
motivation? Okay, how much beer have they drank? Okay, all right. So both Karen and John say that the roller coaster from Australia is a bluff. We'll check with the judges, and the judges say, guess what? We have a tie. Both of you go home winners this week.
Okay, that's good.
Bluff. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's great. No flashcards for me. That's great.
Yeah.
I'm happy about that.
All right. Well, that means we've reached the end of another exciting episode of What in the World, everybody's favorite weird news podcast. I want to thank Karen Hale, our media mogul, co-host, producer, provider of all kinds of great things at newclevelandradio.net, our platform. Go to visit newclevelandradio.net, find out about all the great podcasts Karen has, and also about Yes I Can Coaching, which is our sponsor. Great coaching services from Karen, so check that out. More links you can get at paulseabrun.com or on my Facebook page. So all kinds of ways to find out where to download the podcast for your listening or viewing pleasure. I would also like to thank my old buddy John DiNallo, our host of What in the World of Sports, all around good guy, puts up with me, been putting up with me for a long time. So
that's okay, Paul. Again, it's a lot of fun to do the show, and yeah, I thought it was a good show again today. I thought we hit a lot of high points. I thought
maybe we need to start doing the show at 11 o'clock instead.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, whatever suits our purposes best, folks. I mean, I think that's what our audience wants. They want quality, right? So we have to continue to give it to them. Right.
Speaking of audience, we want to thank you, not the least, but the best. You know, you're the reason why we do this show every week. Without you, we couldn't do it. We hope you have as much fun listening to the show or watching it as we do putting it on. Please tell your friends, come back again. Check us out on YouTube, on your favorite podcast platform. Visit me on Facebook or on paulseabrun.com. You can send me messages there. Send Karen messages on newclevelandradio.net. Let us know what you think. Send us ideas, all that good stuff. And on that note, I think we're going to head on out. Hopefully, we will be back on Tuesdays next week at our regular time, despite our speculation that we might pick a new time. We'll let you know long enough in advance that
all right, that sounds great.
Yeah, I think so. So enjoy the weekend. I think temperatures are going down in Cleveland, so hopefully you've got beautiful weather getting close to Labor Day weekend, so get ready for it, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week, everyone. Have a good weekend. Take care.